Well, you might not believe this, but the government is now trying to fight to continue censoring you. As somebody who ran for governor of California and got to see a little bit of the inner workings of the political system and experienced censorship firsthand, this is blatantly disgusting. And this is not Democratic or Republican. This is just straight up an American belief that the government should not be censoring American opinion, especially when there's dissent. Because dissent actually generally makes us think a little bit. Wait, are we wrong in what we're saying? Can we fact check what we're saying? Think about it. When you write something on Twitter, perhaps, or you make a comment, and then somebody says, well, what about this? It makes you think. It's like, oh, I never thought about it that way, potentially. Or, oh, maybe I'm wrong. That's a good thing. That's very healthy. But if nobody else is able to respond, that's a problem. And so obviously we had this legal ruling that came out on July 4th, perfectly timed, where a federal judge restricted the government's ability to censor individuals on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media. In fact, this judge went as far as calling the government's actions today dystopian in nature, or to date, dystopian in nature, almost to the level of the Ministry of Truth, and that the judge believes that those alleging the government had censored them have potentially provided enough evidence to support that the government has been engaging in a far-reaching and widespread censorship campaign. When we last covered this, before this breaking news came out of what the government's doing now, we gave examples of basically going through this about how the White House is flagging stuff on Twitter and YouTube and trying to get vaccine skeptical content censored, or even information about gas prices and the economy censored. Tucker Carlson censored, Tommy Lahren censored. All of these essentially people potentially disagreeing with information the White House is putting out requested to be censored. So, what's happening now? Well, here you go. Look at what just happened. Notice of appeal. After this ruling, you quite literally have President Joe Biden, in his official capacity as President of the United States, sorry, this is a little blurry copy over here. Anyway, the Biden administration filing an appeal. All defendants hereby appeal to the preliminary injunction, which limits the government's ability to censor you. So the injunction limits the government's ability to censor you. The defendants, aka the Joe Biden administration, the Biden administration, are like, no. No. We want to appeal that so we can continue to control messaging about the economy or whatever we want. That to me is even almost scarier than the fact that the stuff happened. It's like, okay, the stuff happened. That's scary already. The censorship happened. That's bad. But now not only did the censorship happen, but now you're literally embarking on a fight to make sure you could continue that style of censorship. That's mind-blowing to me. It makes me want to remind you to get life insurance in as little as 5 minutes by going to metkevin.com/life. Or check out the links to Shadow Me, link down below, or the courses on building your wealth. Paid promotion on life insurance. Anywho, I'm very surprised by this. Well, I guess then again, maybe we shouldn't be surprised. Maybe it's become so ingrained in the fabric of our governmental organizations to essentially argue for controlling messaging that this is the next step. It's just, no, let's keep fighting it in court. I mean, to some extent, if an injunction is like, don't censor, and you're like, all right, we'll stop censoring, you don't need to appeal. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's another reason to appeal. But it seems to me, if the injunction is don't censor, and you're appealing, you're basically saying, no, we want to keep doing what we're doing. Which is scary because that's kind of like what China does, right? I mean, China and North Korea, these essentially near dictatorships or communist party regimes are controlling messaging. They, the websites are censored. You can't get all access to, free and truthful information and transparent press and transparent media because the messaging is controlled. It's kind of like how Russia tries to control the narrative as well. Somebody writes a piece located in Russia that they don't like, they arrest the person, like they arrested the individual who works for the Wall Street Journal. Evan, I think it was. Terrible. Write a bad piece about how Russia's losing the war, boom, you're thrown in jail. It's not how a government is supposed to work. And the fact that our government is now appealing to censorship somewhat makes me feel like they're trying to go in that direction, which is really scary. And I'm not trying to be like, tinfoil hat, fear-mongery, slippery, slopey here, but I just don't see a defense for that. And again, I don't think it's Dem or Republican or whatever. I think it's just politics. I've been so used to controlling the narrative for so long, and potentially controlling the media, that finally we're getting more mainstream adoption of free speech and free opinion, and people making their own conclusions, that you almost have this sense of panic at the government. Anyway, pretty crazy. So wanted to give you an update on that.
Now, I want you to know this. When it comes to AI, time is what's going to make you money. And if you can prove that value to an employer, you'll always be able to be employed. So this is another way of making sure that you don't get replaced by